Hello, welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. We are on another fun event of history, and this is called the Siege of Vicksburg. I've personally been through Vicksburg all my way back from Texas, for a conference, and it was very interesting. I saw a gas station on one side, a gambling room on the other side, and a church on the other side of the building. Interesting building. But am I surprised? No. Honey, I'm from the South. This is the Bible Belt, so nothing really surprises me at this point on that. But anyway, if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notification. Also, please subscribe. Help a girl out. Um, Today we're going to be talking about the Siege of Vicksburg and basically what this battle meant. So, the Siege of Vicksburg was a decisive Union victory during the American Revolution that divided the Confederacy and cemented the reputation of the Union General Ulysses S. Grant. And Union forces waged a campaign to take the Confederate str- stronghold of Vicksburg, Mississippi, which lay halfway between Memphis to the north of New Orleans to the south. And the 40-day siege of Vicksburg eventually gave control of the Mississippi River. And for those of you who don't know, the Mississippi River it was like for the longest time was a major trading post. Like the Mississippi River, if you had access to that, you had access to everything. And the Mississippi River was a critical supply line to the Union and was part of the Union's successful Anaconda Plan to cut off all ties to the Confederacy. So, what happens when the battle begins? Well, as the Civil War began, the South controlled the Mississippi River, which was a critical transportation corridor and supply line, from Cargo, Illinois, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Vicksburg, given its strategic location to the east bank of the Mississippi, was the nailhead that holds the South's two halves together, according to the Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Now, the Vicksburg campaign was one of the Union Army's most successful endeavors in the Civil War, and it was also one of the longest. Although the first attempt by General Grant to take the city to failed in the winter of 1862 to 1863, and he renewed his efforts again in the spring. Now, Union Admiral David Porter had to run his um, flotilla past Vicksburg's defense in the early May as Grant marched on and the west bank of the river opposite Vicksburg, crossed over back to the Mississippi and drove toward Jackson, the state capital. After defeating a Confederate force down near Jackson, Grant turned to the troops back to Vicksburg. And on May 16th, Grant defeated the force under Generals John C. Pemberton at Champion Hill, one of the Confederates' last defense outside of Vicksburg, and Pemberton retreated back to Vicksburg, and Grant sealed off the city by the end of May. In 3 weeks' time, Grant's men had marched 180 miles, won 5 battles, and captured some 6,000 prisoners. And did you know that after the residents of the Vicksburg at did you notice now? After the residents of Vicksburg dug more than 500 caves in the hills around the city and began living in them, Union soldiers started to refer to them as the Prairie Dog Village. Interesting, right? I think so, but that's just my history side coming out. But now Grant did make some attacks after bottling Vicksburg, but he found the Confederate rail entrenched, and starting on May 18th, preparing for a long siege of Vicksburg, Grant's army constructed 15 miles of trenches enclosed in Pemberton's force of 29,000 men inside the perimeter. And it was only a matter of time before Grant, with 70,000 troops, captured Vicksburg. And Confederates' attempt to rescue Pemberton and his force felled both the East and the West, and many conditions of the military personnel and civilians devastated rapidly. And many residents, cut off from supplies and rapidly running out of food, moved to tunnels from the hillsides to escape the constant bombardments um, and everything. Now, Vicksburg's National Military Park, um, Pemberton surrendered on July 4th, 1863. on the 4th of July. And President Lincoln wrote that the Mississippi again goes unvexed by the sea. And the Confederate defeat at Vicksburg and the second Union victory downriver at the Hudson River ensured that the Union would have complete control of the Mississippi. And Lincoln reportedly referred to the successful Vicksburg campaign as the key to the war. And today, the Battle of Vicksburg and the siege are commemorated at the Vicksburg National Military Park. In the town of Vicksburg, which has suffered miserably during the siege, with disease and starvation and stuff, would not celebrate the 4th of July for 81 years. Very interesting. I think so. But that's my history side coming out. But what do y'all think? Again, you can't really comment, but I did. But I just like to know, like, if you don't want my email, you can go through and grab that for business purpose only. There's a topic you want me to talk about. If not, you can find me on social media as well. But I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day.